Baruch Hashem, now we passed Rosh Hashanah, we passed the Day of Judgment, we passed the beginning, the signing of the new year, and now, B'at Hashem, we are preparing ourselves for Yom Kippur. But Mamash, today, we are standing in front of the first Shabbat that we're going to live B'at Hashem this year. We know about something that we mention often, that always, the first of everything is very important. The beginning of anything we do in our life is something that we need to make sure that it is done right. It is like an analogy that I give often. It's like a bow and an arrow. If a person wants to shoot a bow and arrow and he wants it to get to a certain target, he wants it to be high, he wants it to go to a certain place, he needs to make sure at the beginning it's pointed in the right direction. Because always, the beginning, even the smallest tilt to the right or to the left, will change the end result in a drastic way. So always, Rabotai, the beginning is always the most important step to make sure the beginning is done right. It's like what we mentioned many times in the Shurim. What's the most important thing that a person needs to do when he wakes up in the morning? Do modani, do it yatadayim. The way you start your day, that's how your entire day will continue. Shabbatot, Rabotai, they're all connected. All the Shabbatot of the year, they are all connected, they are all like one. If we want Be'ezat Hashem, all the Shabbatot of the year to be full of Be'acha, we need to act in a way that Be'ezat Hashem's Shabbat will be the best Shabbat that we could possibly perform. It needs to be a Shabbat of a community, Shabbat of a family, that this Shabbat, we make sure that between us, we act with ahava, with love for each other. Between us, we try to share as much as good as possible, that we make this Shabbat Abotai a Shabbat full of Be'acha. If we start our Shabbatot, Be'ezat Hashem, full of Be'acha, we will have a year full of Be'acha as well. This Shabbat Abotai is also called what? Shabbat Shuvah. Why Shabbat Shuvah? That it is the Shabbat that a person needs to wake up to do Teshuvah in order, Be'ezat Hashem, to change if Chas v'Shalom something was written on Rosh Hashanah. That on the day of Rosh Hashanah, like we mentioned in the Zohar class, our judgment is written, and on Yom Kippur we have the opportunity to cancel the judgment, to change the judgment for the good. And this Shabbat Abotai is actually the time that we have to reflect on ourselves in order to better ourselves at Hashem before Yom Kippur. You know, Abotai, even if we look at this Parasha, what Parasha are we reading this Shabbat? Vayelech. What's Vayelech? What's Vayelech? The Parasha opens up that Moshe Rabbeinu, he went. Where did he go? He went to speak to Bnei Israel. A Kli Akar asks, he says, he went, but where? So the Kli Akar says, he went from home to home, from oil to oil, in order to speak from one family to another, to waken them to do Teshuvah. That actually in this Parasha, Moshe Rabbeinu teaches us how to act, all of us as individuals. That it's not just about coming to the shul and Shabbat Shuvah, and the Rav will say Shabbat Shuvah, do Teshuvah. It's on every single one of us, our responsibility to go back to our homes and to try to bring that avira, try to bring that energy of teshuvah, to try to bring that energy of ahava, of love one for each other. And that, Abotai, is the most important thing on Shabbat Teshuvah. If we want, Abotai, to change our faith into a full of be'acha and atzlacha for the entire year, this is the Shabbat, Abotai, to change it, to bring down blessing. We say Shabbat, I mention this almost every Friday, ki mekor be'acha. That all the bracha of the week comes on Shabbat. If we want a Yom Kippur to be full of Be'acha, we need to make the Shabbat count. If we make the Shabbat count, we will bring down big Be'acha. There's a beautiful segula that in the Kohelet Rabbah, that is mamash a beautiful thing that we should all take upon ourselves. In the Kohelet Rabbah, if I'm not mistaken, in Perek Tet, in Pasuk Kaf Aleph, it says something amazing. It says about that, we all know that famous Gemara, where it says that a man, Kol ha'oneh amen yeh shemei Rabbah b'kol kocho, v'varim lo dvora gzera. That if a person answers amen yeh shemei Rabbah with all his strength, they cancel even a punishment that he's supposed to suffer 80 years with a punishment, just by answering one time in Yeshim Rabbah. The Kohelet Rabbah says something amazing. He says, if you have a person that gets up and speaks of Divrei Torah, or speaks about something that has to do with waking up for Teshuvah, and somebody answers Amen Yeshim Rabbah, which, what does Amen Yeshim Rabbah mean? Meaning that, you take it, you respect it, you recognize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you recognize that whatever this Rav is saying is true. The Kohelet Rabbah says it's the exact same thing. That just the fact that when someone's going to get up this Shabbat and speak about Teshuvah, and speak about doing something good, if it's love between you and your friend, if it's forgiving, if it's asking for forgiveness, if it's keeping Shabbat, if it's doing one more mitzvah this Shabbat, if it's keeping one more hour of this Shabbat longer, doing selichot before Yom Kippur, whatever it is, and a person takes upon himself that mitzvah, just by taking upon himself that mitzvah, it's like answering Amen Yeshem Rabbah. And if he has chas v'shalom a judgment that was put on him on Rosh Hashanah, he could cancel it. Amen. Which is something amazing. Mamash, something amazing. That it's just a matter of hearing something good. Whether if it's our father that gets up on the Shabbat table and is going to say this Shabbat needs to be Shabbat full of ba'acha. And this week, B'ezrat Hashem, until Yom Kippur, we're going to make a good week, B'ezrat Hashem. Just by saying, I will do that this week, a person can cancel all the judgment that he has on his life. So that is something amazing. So that's what we need to do, Rabotai. We need, Rabotai, all of us to go home, to share goodness with our families, to share goodness one with another. The same way Moshe Rabbeinu did. To go from home to home, to spread happiness, to spread love, to spread teshuvah. That we all take upon ourselves a mitzvah. We all do maybe an hour more of Shabbat. We all take upon ourselves that we'll do at least 2-3 more slichot we have left. Do something good, take upon ourselves something good, and share it with the people that are around us. Every time someone's going to take it upon themselves, we don't know, it could change their year. So may HaKadosh Baruch Hu Hashem give us the strength to do teshuvah, to wake up, and Be'ezrat Hashem to have a year full of ba'acha v'atzlacha. Shabbat shalom v'bracha. Shabbat shalom.